Okay, let's evaluate this limit as h approaches 0. So whenever you're getting going on evaluating limits as our variable approaches a specific value, the very first thing you always want to do is go ahead and substitute that value in for each one of those variables. So in our case, that's going to look like this. It's -2 plus 0 is going to get plugged in for that h, with the -4 out here, and then 0 gets plugged in for the h in the denominator as well. From here, let's just go ahead and simplify and see where we get to. Now we always are going to have the 0 in the denominator in this case, but we get to -2 quantity squared minus 4, which will make 4 minus 4, and eventually 0 over 0. Okay, so that's the case which says basically keep going. All right, we should be able to continue on with this problem, hopefully get to an answer. It's also kind of telling us that because h makes 0 when we plug in 0 for it, we're probably looking for a factor of h in our numerator as well. So let's kind of start over. It's not really starting over, it's just beginning and thinking to ourselves, how can we simplify the numerator and hopefully find a factor of h? So in our case, what I think we should do is visualize this as -2 plus h quantity squared can really be thought of as 2 copies of -2 plus h. So let's work on expanding the numerator, is what I'm trying to say in our case. And then we'll think about combining it back together and simplifying. So bringing the h along from our denominator and kind of think first, outer, inner, last. So -2 times -2 for our first will make 4. And then our outer will be -2 times h, -2h. The inner, positive h times -2, makes another -2h. And finally, our last makes positive h times positive h is going to be plus h squared. We also want to bring along that -4 that was in our numerator over to the left. This -4 should still be part of our numerator, so along it comes. All right, from here, let's go ahead and work on combining stuff together. I notice that we have a +4 and we're subtracting 4, so those will both combine together and make 0. We can also say that we have like terms with the -2h and the other -2h. So let's bring this along as limit as h approaches 0, h in the denominator. As we combine those like terms, we get -4h plus h squared. All right, the rest of this shouldn't be too bad. Noticing that we do have a common factor for each term in our numerator. So that common factor, each one of those terms has an h, so let's remove that common factor. As we remove it, we'll pull it out of the -4h and we'll still have a -4. And as we remove it from the plus h squared, we'll still have a plus h on the inside of the set of parentheses. So that if we were to redistribute, take that h from the outside and multiply it by each term from the inside, we would end up with those same 2 terms that we had in the previous step. All right, from here, when we have h multiplied by the entire numerator, h multiplied by the entire denominator, we can simplify that by canceling them out because that makes a 1. And we're left with the limit as h approaches 0 of -4 plus h. At this point, we go back to replacing the variable, the h, with 0. So it's going to be -4 plus 0, which works out to be -4. So that means that -4 is the overall result in our case here. All right, that is the limit as h approaches 0 for that original function. So I hope this helps out as you're working through, learning about how to take limits. A lot of them follow the same sort of pattern as you go. Good luck.